Thank you, Mark. All right. Well, it's always a treat for me to have our athletic coaches from Dobyns Bennett come here, especially my friend Ryan Wagner. You know, Ryan was one of the most outstanding athletes at Dobyns Bennett as a student that we've ever had. He lettered in three sports: football, basketball, and baseball. He was a starting quarterback. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see all this. I was off soldiering in places like Iraq and whatever. But what I have had a chance to observe is the fact that since he's been a teacher and a coach at Dobyns Bennett, he's had a tremendous positive impact on students, male, female, it doesn't matter. He's just a great person with young people. Uh, he he was a great athlete at DB, of course, and then he went on to play baseball at Walter State, and then at ETSU. He's worked with special needs students. He's a physical ed teacher. He has coached football simultaneously with coaching baseball, but you don't coach football now, do you,
No, sir.
Ryan? And he went to the state tournament in various sports as a student. As a coach, he's taken DB to the state tournament several times, finishing as high as third in 2017. His wife, Beth, is a dental hygienist here in Kingsport, and they have two children, Sam and Anna Lee. His parents are both retired Kingsport teachers, as well as his brother Todd has been a teacher and is now a associate principal. And here's one more thing to keep in mind. Dobyns Bennett baseball is the all-time United States high school winningest baseball program. They have 1,688 wins, 669 losses, 3 ties. The coach can explain the ties. But please give a great Kiwanis welcome for Ryan Wagner.
Appreciate you. Thanks, sir. This is on, correct? Thanks for the welcome. Thanks for Pat inviting me and two of my senior players that I thought were very well deserved to be here. And they're a great example of what a student athlete should be in Kingsport at Dobyns Bennett High School, and I'll talk about them in just a minute. But well, I just wrote down a couple things as the program started. There's probably more here that I haven't seen yet, but I know I coached Ronnie's son, not as a head coach, but I did coach him. Mark, I coached his son in football, and then Daryl, I didn't coach his kids. They played more basketball. Well, I did. I coached one of them. I was finishing up my freshman campaign as being a freshman coach. So I've coached all 3 of those guys' kids, and all are great kids, wonderful and done great, and appreciate all they do for our community. I want to recognize, and I don't want to be redundant, but Miss Heron and Charlie for his awards. Believe it or not, I played the drums at Robinson Middle School for Mr. Heron. So I can still play Bridgman, and he knows what that is, and she knows what that is, but a lot of the drummers now do not know what that is, but I can still have a little beat to it. And then Mr. Light for reminding us of, just remind somebody to tell them we love them today on Valentine's Day, because a lot of times we take things like that for granted, and then it's too late. So thank you. I'm not going to talk a lot about myself and my family, as Pat has already done that, but I'm very blessed to have worked in Kingsport this is my 26th year, believe it or not, and I've got those 2 kids that are wonderful. He asked me about football, and I did do that as long as I could and still stay with my wife so she didn't kill me, because there's a lot of time doing football and being the head baseball coach, but I loved it. But now that my kids are playing sports, in the fall, I'm able to work with them and coach their teams and spend a lot of time with them. My wife's a hygienist here in Kingsport as well. So, and then in my family, I will touch on them. Mom and Dad are both retired, but my mom, she's been retired probably 10 years, and she's at John Adams Elementary every day, either subbing or doing an interim. And my dad still subs at DB. He's 77 years old. And then my brother just left John Adams this year after about 21 years, well, when the school opened, to now. And he is hard because it's such a great school, but he's associate principal at Lincoln Elementary, and he loves it. He loves every minute of it. Let me talk about these guys a minute. I'm going to get them out of their comfort zone just a little bit, but it's good for them. I chose these two guys today because they represent a great example of what a student athlete should be at Dobyns Bennett. The first one, when I start talking about you, you can come on up here. So the first one's Cooper Reed. Cooper, now you're going to say, wow, 4.6 GPA, 7th in the class, which is, it's a real strong class too. 34 ACT, AP Scholar, and has been accepted in the Honors College at University of Tennessee. He's a two-sport athlete. Started on the offensive line for the football team this year. It had a great year, and also obviously plays baseball. He's a catcher, first baseman. Just both these guys. I'll just go ahead and say this. So you have kids that play in Kingsport when they're young, and then as they get a little older, sometimes they venture out, maybe want to go play a little bit further away, maybe where it's a little more competitive because they're going to go play college baseball and they want to be in Atlanta a little bit more and places like that in the summer. Their group of seniors stayed together, minus a couple, until this past summer. And so they played for Dobyns Bennett, but then they played summer ball for about probably 6 to 8 weeks. And they loved each other so much to stay together. And Cooper's going to attend University of Tennessee and study biology. This is Cooper Reed. Stay up here. The next student is Charlie Schumann. Charlie has a 4.3 GPA, 38th in the class, 32 ACT, also an AP Scholar, also accepted into the Honors College at the University of Tennessee. And you guys can probably help persuade him a little bit. He's still deciding between the University of Tennessee and the University of Dabo Swinney at Clemson, South Carolina. So he's going to study mechanical engineering. So obviously, I've over the years, try to come up with jokes. My dad's really good at that. Not like Graham, but my dad has a knack for that. And we've kind of run out of jokes to get on Jack and now Pat and put them in those jokes. But I will say this about myself, okay? I also made a 34 on the ACT 30 years ago. I made 11 the first time, 11 the second, and 12 the third time. So I'm right there with them. So second guy was Charlie Schumann. Give him a hand, please. Before they go sit down, I'm going to let them say a word about what either Dobyns Bennett or the athletic program or anything in general they'd like to say.
Thank you for having me. I've probably spent more time at Dobyns Bennett than I'd say anyone. My dad teaches and coaches there. He's a JV basketball coach. And so I've spent a lot of time at his practices and my practices just being around Dobyns Bennett. And I don't regret a single time I've been there. I love Dobyns Bennett. And I was actually telling this to somebody the other day. I like the smell of Dobyns Bennett. And it's really helped me grow as a person. And it's truly the greatest high school in the state and in the country.
Thank you for having me. And Dobyns Bennett just allowed me to meet so many people with a great athletic programs, just balancing athletics and stuff in the classroom. It's just prepared me so well to go to college next year.
So both these guys, obviously, you can tell were raised in a great home that put demands on them, made them do things the right way. So I appreciate the parents that they have. we'll look a little bit at my season. I'll be brief because I know you guys like to ask questions. By the way, man, this crowd's a lot prettier today with all these women in here. I can tell you that. There used to be a couple, now there's more, so it's a lot prettier.
Keep it up.
Keep it up. Whose birthday was it? 18 or 19? Okay. So we're very lucky. I try to mention this. I know you guys get tired of hearing it, but we're lucky. Look at everything they've done at Dobyns Bennett. Kingsport's outstanding supporter of the high school, and the facilities we have are, amazing. I'm around a lot of kids. These guys have been around them too. You people see teams come in to tournaments that are not used to being in Kingsport. And not only we have Dobyns Bennett with the dome, the football stadium, the turf, the baseball field, you can go down the road about 4 miles to Hunter Wright Stadium, and you have full turf there too. So this past fall, for the first time, we were allowed to have 8 full practices. And you don't think that's a lot, but 8 days, 2 hours a day, really good for our kids. We did a little bit late trying to get some football guys out there. The varsity players, had a great year, made a good run, and won a playoff game. So we didn't see them a whole lot. But we got a lot of our freshman kids that play 2 sports out there to kind of get them used to our program. So we used Hunter Wright during that time because the J. Fred was still set up for football. So very fortunate for that. We're thankful for all the facilities and everything that our city leaders and everyone that support, and we appreciate it. Feeder programs, Pat was asking me about that. So, a lot of times some of y'all maybe have played youth league baseball growing up, but there wasn't middle school baseball. Now we kind of have both ends of it. So T-ball starts in Parks and Rec when you're, 4, 5, 6, and then they start a coach pitch league where a dad or one of the coaches will pitch at 7 and 8, and then 9 and 10 are together, 11 and 12, and then so on. So we have, a good Parks and Rec program. My kids both played in it. My daughter still plays some basketball in it. And, what we do in baseball now too, probably since about 2000, probably about 8 or 9 years, we also have a little expanded organization called Tribe Baseball. And we have kids playing from 7 all the way up to what I just told you all about them last year. They played 17U, so 7 to 17. And I have to keep some of my coaches at bay a little bit. One of them is my cousin. And he's a great guy. He's smart. He's got his kid. He's 7. And, sometimes we can do too much in one sport. So I really push doing things the right way, letting these kids play other sports. And I think when they're young, I'm not saying you force them to do things, but like we're not just going to play baseball all year long, okay? My son plays all 3 sports. And I think every sport helps him at the other sports just by different things that they do, whether it be in basketball, running, catching, hand-eye coordination, running down the court, football, just throwing, catching, moving around on the field. He even played soccer this fall as Parks and Rec. And in 2 weeks, we played 4 sports. But that only went on for a week. My point is, that's too much, but he's also doing different things so he doesn't get burnt out. And my daughter plays 3 or 4 things and does gymnastics and everything too. So I just think it's important for our kids to get every experience they can while they're young. And then if they want to narrow it down in high school, that's fine. Our middle school programs are good. Robinson and Sevier are both competitive. Having the old Sullivan North, which is now TAC, has helped Sevier Middle School have a facility to practice at more. Obviously, when it rains 5 inches in 3 days, we have to get in the gym. So we've created some space up in the top. If you've been at the basketball game, on the opposite side, those bleachers push back. And now there's a pretty good size area in our maintenance. Lee McDavid at Dobyns Bennett, who's been there 40 years, and his guys have hung a net. I think we have one more for them to hang so they can have 2 hitters at once. They have 2 mounds to throw off of. So John Sevier goes there a lot. Robinson has their own field, but listen, with this weather, I get those guys, and I commend them on it. They come in at night after we finish, and they'll get on the turf or go in our indoor facility. They work at it. So, and then Hunter Wright's filled up. Pat can tell you that, and John. There's somebody there in March all the way through the fall, usually, pretty regularly. So, our teams are doing good. As far as Dobyns Bennett 2025 team, we have 9 seniors. We have 7 juniors, 13 sophomores, and 15 freshmen. So that's a lot. We have about 46 kids in our program right now. We have a lot of freshmen. I thought it was very fair to give those guys ample opportunity to develop. And there's a lot of kids that are fairly even. So why not give those guys a year or two, see how they do? And they may stay 15 all the way through. I don't know. But, it gives us a chance to see how they do in school, how they act, how their grades are. And then we find a way to reward them for that. Our varsity team last year went 24-8, lost a heartbreaking game for about 3 years in a row. I don't know. That one last year hit hard, but these guys were a part of it. But, we didn't lose to somebody that wasn't good. We probably were not expected to win the game. The pitcher was the player of the year in the conference that we had to beat. But we lost right at the last second. How it happened was kind of tough. But these guys fought, and we were very young last year. We started 5 sophomores. These guys played a lot as juniors, these 2. And then we started a couple seniors. So this year we're going to go back to Charleston. I know you hear that a lot, but that's our home away from home. I've got a lot of contacts. We got 4 games there. Very challenging schedule this year. Very challenging. So going to Charleston, we're going to play Hanahan High School, which is the defending. 2 years ago, they won the 3A championship. Last year, they got beat in the championship game. Oceanside is a charter school that won the 4A state championship. We're playing both of those teams and 2 other good teams. And then Knox Farragut, who's a baseball dynasty over the last 20 years. I think they've won around 10 out of the last 18 championships. They won it last year, and we're going down and play them this year, stay all night, and play another team in Knoxville. Greenville, home and away. We're having our Tribe Classic like we always do at Dobyns Bennett and Hunter Wright and some other local venues. Got good teams coming in, so really challenging schedule. So we felt like it was important to do that. The tough part, and I'm not making excuses, it is tough. These guys will tell you, we got 8 guys that play basketball. So it's fine. They're playing multiple sports. They're helping Coach Poore and his staff get where they want to be. It's just tough, and the fact that baseball falls those last 2-3 months, we don't see those guys a lot. So they are doing a few things on their own. Obviously, I talk to Coach Poore and communicate with him, nothing to where that will affect or hurt them in basketball, but they got to throw some because our pitching coach is not going to let them come out there and get on the mound if they've not thrown. They have to throw for 4 weeks at least. Just partner throw before they're allowed to get on the mound for our pitching coach and the doctors that we know and study with. So we try to be very protective and take care of those kids and make sure they're healthy. That's about all I got as far as, our team this year and the things that I want to talk about. And I'll be glad to answer some questions. I always enjoy that.